3, Lesson 2, Floating Down the River. In our last lesson, we learned that there are 8 key features of functions that we're going to track. So please review that if you forgot what they are. Now in this situation, we have 3 people that are floating down the river in inner tubes. And one of the things they notice is the depth of the water keeps changing. So from this table, we're going to look at the 8 key features. First, intercepts. You know a y-intercept because a y-intercept happens when x is equal to 0. So look for the 0 in the table, and you've found the x-intercept. So 0, 4. There is no x-intercept. X-intercept happens when y is 0, and there is nowhere where the depth of the river is 0. The maximum depth of the river occurs at 90 minutes in. So 90, 12. Think of that as a point. The minimum is at the beginning, 0, 4. So because the depth of the river is 4 feet, that's the smallest. It also duplicates later on. There's at 60 minutes, they're also at 4 feet. Now on number 5, we're tracking the intervals of increase and decrease. 5 and 6. You notice I'm using different kind of brackets. I'm using these squared off brackets. This is what we're going to do to talk about intervals of numbers. So intervals of increase. So from 0 to 30 minutes, it increases. And we look at the y to determine that. It goes from 4 to 6 to 8 to 10. But then we go up on top to determine what the interval is. Now later on, you go from 4 to 5 to 7 to 12. You're increasing again. So 60 to 90 is the interval of increase. The intervals of decrease are all the ones in between that. So starting at 10 and going down to 5, so from 30 to 50 is an interval of decrease. That's here. And from 9 down to 5, or actually 12 down to 5, so from 90 down to 120 is an interval of decrease. You know, I forgot to close the bracket on that. Domain and range are all allowable values. The domain is 0 to 120. Anything outside of that, they were not in the river, so it wouldn't make sense. The range is the minimum to the maximum number that you can get as an output. And so we could see that from our minimum and maximum. Back over here, you had 4 for a minimum and 12 for a maximum. So the y goes from 4 to 12. And it's continuous. Now, Maria then is looking at distance from a GPS measurement that she made. And we're doing the same 8 features. Well, the x and the y-intercept here are exactly the same. They are both at 0, 0. The maximum occurs on the far right. And we just estimated the y value to be 16,250. And that's because each of these marks going up is 2,000. The x value was 120. It's right underneath, and you can tell from the markings that that's 120. There was no area of decrease. So if you imagine that you're a little car and you're driving on this road, you never go downhill. So you notice you're going up, here, and you keep going up, 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 up. Never went down. The domain is 0 to 120 again. That's the time that the story is in effect. And the range goes from that minimum number up to that maximum number. There's a number of questions after that to see if we understand what happened. We didn't have time to do these in class today. And if there's any takeaways, we'll get those next time before we start the Ready, Set, Go. So we'll see you in the next video. Take care.